How to not die of thirst when the world decides your tap water is trying to kill you. And frankly, why wouldn't it? The cities are silent, picked clean like metallic bones by whatever fresh hell crawled out of the woodwork. Maybe it was the radiation, maybe it was the bacteria that now laughs at chlorine, maybe your local water treatment plant is now a luxury condo for mutated squirrels with a taste for plumbing. Doesn't matter. What matters is your canteen is drier than a dust bowl in August, and that gurgling sound in your stomach isn't thirst. It's your insides contemplating a hostile takeover. You see a puddle, looks questionable, smells like something died in it and then had a party. Drinking that is less survival and more speedrunning your demise. No worries. We're making water purification tablets from whatever garbage hasn't been nailed down yet. Method 1. The iodine improve. Alright, genius. First things first. You need iodine. Yeah, the stuff your grandma used on your scraped knees. Remember her? Probably not. The point is, where do you find it now that the pharmacies are either glowing craters or overrun by folks with a far more pressing need for bandages than you do for not vomiting your guts out? Think medical kits. Raid abandoned ambulances if you dare. Those sirens probably attract the wrong kind of attention these days, but hey, desperate times and all that jazz. Inside, you might find iodine tincture. If you do, jackpot. If not, keep scavenging. Some old first aid books might even mention iodine crystals, usually in sealed little vials. Treat those like gold. Actual gold is probably useless now anyway, unless you're bartering with magpies. Got your iodine? Good. Now you need a delivery system. Those fancy pharmaceutical binders are long gone, so we're improvising. Find some small, relatively inert bits of something. Clay can work if you can bake it hard enough in your makeshift fire pit to avoid it dissolving into muddy sludge. Crushed charcoal from your last questionable campfire might also do the trick. Just make sure it's from actual wood and not some treated lumber that'll add extra fun toxins to your purified water. Even tightly rolled bits of clean cloth can work in a pinch, though they won't absorb the iodine as well. Now for the messy part. If you have tincture, carefully, and I mean carefully, this stuff stains like the end of the world itself. Drip a few drops onto your chosen binder. Not too much. You're not trying to paint the apocalypse purple. Let it soak in, and then let it dry. The iodine is what's going to kill the nasty stuff in your water, so you need it evenly distributed. If you found crystals, congrats, you're a scavenging god. You'll need to crush them into a fine powder. Use a rock and another rock. What else do you have? A mortar and pestle from Pottery Barn. Then, mix a tiny amount of the powder with a bit of your binder material. Again, less is more. Too much iodine, and you'll be trading waterborne horrors for iodine poisoning, which is a lateral move at best. To purify your water, drop 1 or 2 of your makeshift tablets into whatever suspect liquid you've managed to procure. Give it at least 20 to 30 minutes for the iodine to do its grim work. The water will probably taste faintly medicinal, but that's a small price to pay for not contracting the screaming squirts. Remember, this isn't perfect. It'll kill most bacteria and viruses, but it might not do much for chemical contaminants or heavy metals. So, if your water source is glowing, maybe try a different puddle. Just a thought. Method 2, the bleach baptism. Handle with extreme caution, you moron. Alright, so iodine is rarer than a friendly face these days. Fine, let's talk bleach. We need plain, unscented household bleach that lists sodium hypochlorite as the active ingredient. No fancy splashless formulas, no added detergents, no lemon scent unless you want your dysentery to smell vaguely citrusy as a final insult. Check the label. If it doesn't say sodium hypochlorite and nothing else suspicious, leave it. Seriously. You're trying to purify water, not invent a new form of chemical warfare inside your digestive system. Finding bleach might be slightly easier than iodine. People hoarded cleaning supplies like the world was going to end in a sparkling clean apocalypse. Check abandoned stores, basements of houses that haven't completely collapsed, maybe even that weird bunker your neighbor was always suspiciously tinkering in. Once you've got your hands on the right kind of bleach, treat it like liquid death, because it is, if you're an idiot about it. The concentration of sodium hypochlorite in bleach varies, so pay attention, you magnificent buffoon. If it's around 5 to 6%, which is common, you'll need about 2 drops per liter quart of relatively clear water. If the water is cloudy or has visible particulate matter, leaves, bits of something alive, etc., double that to 4 drops. For stronger bleach solutions, around 8 to 9%, use a bit less, maybe 1 drop per liter of clear water, 2 for cloudy. Err on the side of caution, but don't be so stingy that you're just flavoring your contaminated soup. Mix the bleach thoroughly into the water and then wait. This is the hard part for the impatient among you, which, let's face it, is probably everyone left. You need to let the treated water sit for at least 30 minutes. This gives the bleach time to kill the microscopic nasties that are plotting your internal downfall. After 30 minutes, you should be able to faintly smell chlorine. If you can't, add a couple more drops and wait another 15 minutes. If you still can't smell it, either your bleach is useless, surprise, or your sense of smell has finally succumbed to the post-apocalyptic miasma. In that case, maybe just boil the water if you can. Speaking of which, method 3, the ancient art of boiling. Fire, glorious fire, hopefully. Alright, fancy tablets and questionable chemicals are beyond your grasp? Fine. There's always the old-fashioned way, fire. If you can make fire, and if you can't, you've got bigger problems than waterborne illness. You can purify water. It's been working for our dumb ancestors for millennia, and it'll work for your dumb self too. First, find a container that can withstand heat. Metal pots, old tin cans, make sure they're cleanish and don't have weird rust or chemical residue. Even sturdy glass jars if you heat them gradually to avoid shattering. Plastic is right out unless you enjoy the taste of melted polymers in your potentially slightly less deadly water. Pour your questionable water into your chosen vessel. Now the important part, bring it to a rolling boil. That means bubbles are vigorously breaking the surface, not just a few lazy pops here and there. Once it's boiling, keep it boiling for at least 1 full minute at higher altitudes, like if you're somehow surviving in the Rockies, or 3 minutes at lower altitudes, like if you're still kicking around in some coastal ruin. The heat kills most bacteria, viruses, and protozoa that are eager to turn your insides into a toxic waste dump. After boiling, let the water cool down naturally before you attempt to drink it. Scalding your tongue and esophagus isn't going to improve your survival chances. If the water is cloudy, you can try to filter it through a piece of clean cloth, a coffee filter scavenged from a derelict office, or even layers of sand and charcoal if you're feeling ambitious. Filtration won't kill microbes, but it will remove some of the larger, more visually offensive gunk. The sciencey bit, because you're probably wondering, you nerd. Here's the deal, survivalist extraordinaire. Iodine and chlorine work by disrupting the cellular processes of microorganisms, effectively neutralizing them. Boiling water works by using heat to denature essential proteins and RNA, DNA in those same microscopic bad guys, rendering them harmless. Think of it as microwaving their insides until they're no longer a threat to yours. It's brutal but effective. Filtration, on the other hand, is purely physical. It's like trying to keep mosquitoes out of your face by wearing a really tight mesh. It stops the big stuff, but the tiny horrors might still sneak through. The gritty payoff. Alright, you've either got some vaguely medicinal-smelling water thanks to the magic of iodine, some chlorine-tinged hydration courtesy of household chemicals, or some lukewarm but hopefully microbe-free liquid that you painstakingly boiled over a smoky fire. Congratulations. You've managed not to die of dehydration or some horrific waterborne disease for at least a little while longer. Don't get cocky. The apocalypse is still out there, waiting to introduce you to a whole new range of unpleasant ways to perish. But for now, you're a little less thirsty. And in this lovely new world, that's a victory worth, well, not celebrating with a contaminated water toast, that's for sure. Just drink up, stay vigilant, and maybe start scouting for a better water source. Because let's be honest, drinking questionable liquids treated with scavenged chemicals is a temporary solution at best. Now go on, the sun's setting, and who knows what fresh hell the night will bring. At least you'll be slightly better hydrated for it. Maybe.